what is going on? Welcome into the channel. So happy to have you here always. My name is Deborah, owner of Purusha Holistic Wellness, and this is another episode of Purusha Intuitive, where we're going to look at your energy via the tarot, astrology, and any channeled messages that come through. So let's get into it. We're in the middle of Virgo season. We've already gone through new moon in Virgo, full moon in Pisces, lunar eclipse. All four outer planets, are in retrograde, and we're coming up on the second full or new moon in Virgo. So Virgo energy is all about finding balance, finding harmony. It's earth energy. So it's that practice of what keeps us grounded and stable, especially when it comes to our mental, emotional, spiritual well-being. And places where that is not existent or is not happening are really being highlighted. I feel like Spirit's really forcing us to look at those things, whether they're habits, patterns that we have, or people, situations that we're engaging with us that really just aren't nourishing us, aren't supporting us, etc. And it's not easy because a lot of what we're moving through as a collective right now are these bigger spiritual evolutionary lessons. I think this is a lot because Pluto moved into Aquarius. It finally settled there last November. It will be there for about 18 years. It governs generational, progression, situations, culture, society, evolution, etc. And Aquarian energy really allows us to connect with things that are more authentically true, that are more inspirational, passionate, in alignment with our heart, what we desire, how we want this kind of utopian idea of life to look. Unfortunately, it means that we have to break down the structures that have come before. We're seeing that hugely on a global scale for sure, and definitely feeling it down to our own individual self, life, etc. So it is a lot. There is a lot moving. But what I love about Virgo energy season, it gives us support. It gives us stability. It reminds us to take it slower than what we normally would want. Because that's where we'll gain that solid foundation. That's also why I like to start the readings off with an energetic cleansing, set the tone, set the vibe for the reading. I'm using some sage. It helps cleanse out, clear out some of those blocks, limitations that we might be coming into. It's a great time to set your own intention as well, Libra, especially if you do have something on your heart, on your mind, that you would like Spirit to deliver messages to you around. Definitely give that over. Be open to receive. It is a really great way to personalize these collective readings. I also do personal readings. I offer a variety of healing and wellness services. Readings are one of them. If you want me to look at your specific situation, how it's faring, where it's headed, or if you are just interested in that rebalancing of self, alignment of your mind, body, soul, I do energy healing as well as Ayurvedic or holistic wellness consultations. When we're aligned, when we're grounded, like I was talking about earlier, that's where we're able to manifest our happiness, our abundance, live in alignment with our fulfillment. And we all totally deserve that. I would love to help support in whatever way possible. Definitely hit me up, Libra. All the info to get into contact with me is in the description box below. All right, let's get into it. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure loving grace. I release anything that is not for your highest and best. Any fear, doubt, insecurities, lack of worth, lack of value, pain, anger, frustration, impatience, overwhelm. Cleanse it and release it from our being so that we may see and understand the messages clearly. Help to make me a clear and open channel for the collective. Thank you, Father God, Spirit guides, guardian angels, Mama Love. All right, Libra. Your energy feels a little bit heavy this week. I feel like you feel limited, feel restricted. The initial message I was hearing is like grinning and bearing it. Like you might be putting a smile on your face and acting accordingly, but underneath it might feel a little messier than what you're letting on, even to people that like you're closest to. I'm not talking about like airing your dirty laundry out to everyone in front of you. You do have some decorum. This is just more that like, it's like you can't get over that proverbial obstacle. Whatever feels like it's stuck in your way, there is this energy of like, no matter which way you turn, it's always there. Ironically or not, message of forgiveness is in your overarching energy. This has actually been popping up a lot in the collective where yes, it's great to like get out of, move on from situations, especially things that are toxic or not supportive to us, like we talked about. But we also want to make sure to forgive in the process. I think Leo had a very similar message. You could have Leo placements. You could be dealing with a Leo. But it doesn't have to be, but there definitely is just this energy of making sure that you're tying up all loose ends is maybe what I want to say. And I feel like that's why there is some limitation in your progress and how you're seeing things move forward. Perhaps you need some help doing this, help overcoming some of these hurdles, some of these places to forgive. You know, I'm a huge proponent of getting whatever help you need, whether that's therapy, whether that's talking to a friend, whether it's doing some educational research just to kind of like validate or help yourself, or, you know, it's finding a true north is what I'm hearing, right? Like, what's that saying? Like, there's your perspective, their perspective, and the truth. And usually the truth is somewhere in the middle, you know? And part of what I'm hearing with you, like grinning and bearing it, is it is coming from this sense of confusion. It's coming from this inability to maybe completely understand a relationship, a dynamic. Karmic relationships is coming up in your blocked energy. That's also been a huge theme in the collective. And I'm saying that not to invalidate what you're moving through, but just a reminder, we're all kind of going through it. Like, we're all being put in these karmic lessons. That's so much of what those 4 planets in retrograde are all about. Specifically Saturn's in Pisces right now. Saturn really forces us to learn our lessons, especially those ones that like we can pleasantly avoid, but our intuition is telling us something different. And that's a lot of the reality, the nature of karmic relationships, right? Like, we make justifications, we make excuses, we make choices that aren't really like what we authentically want to make someone else happy, to get something out of it, whatever it may be, right? But karmic relationships come into our life to help us grow, to help us evolve, which is what all these spiritual or deeper evolutionary lessons are all about present day. It does look like you are trying to find freedom. I don't think this is easy. I think this is something that was very precious and important to you with the love card. So we have love, help, and message of freedom in your overarching energy. That's kind of like your progression this week. Stepping away from something that, like, you know, didn't end well to whatever capacity, however messy it got. Someone who really didn't have the commitment to follow through is this Knight of Cups energy. You might even be having some interaction, engagement with this person's situation still, because it does kind of look like they're hanging around. This looks like someone who is still trying to offer something on their level, what their ability is, but it's still falling flat for you, right? There still is a disconnect to some capacity. This is also someone who feels like, specifically if this is love, it doesn't have to be for you, but it looks like, you know, it's kind of like, let's just be friends. Like, there's something that I feel like they're either trying to get away with or make themselves feel better about, without really having a direct conversation, without you really receiving a lot of information about the dynamic, you know. And it looks like with the Fool card for you, it looks like you've had to walk away. It looks like you've had to set some boundaries, especially with this 10 of Cups. You're putting your own sanity first, right? And it looks like whatever this is, has a problem with that. They want you to keep following the rules, their rules or whatever. They want you to see kind of these half-hearted attempts to patch things up. It feels like a Band-Aid energy. Especially because like they're still showing you that they're causing drama. This feels like someone who like probably doesn't really know how to communicate, say what they need to say, what they think, what they feel, and instead they resort to like bad behavior. Like in the way that it's like someone who's very loud and obnoxious and like just coming after you to get the attention that they want. They want attention because you're not paying attention to them anymore. And I think, okay, so there's our karmic relationship, right? But for you, because either they're still around or there still is some level of engagement, or maybe you're still trying to give them the benefit of the doubt, or you have up until this point, up until maybe even just like watching this reading, you also are very aware that it's not working. You're very aware of like, it keeps kind of coming back to this place that you can't really do anything about. And it almost looks like unless you do it how they want you to do it, they're gonna choose something else. And I feel like that's kind of where this help is coming into play. Help and messages of freedom. I feel like if you pursue, again, this can just be advice, wisdom from someone who's been through something similar. You could actually go see a therapist, a counselor, someone to talk it out with. If you don't feel like talking, any type of like healing modality, a massage, acupuncture, go to a sauna, get a steam, rest, meditate, do some yoga. All those practices, they really help us realign with ourselves. They balance the right left hemisphere of the brain. They bring some coherence to our thoughts, what we're feeling, what we're seeing, the ability to kind of make better decisions. And I feel like that's kind of where you're stuck. Like, it feels like for whatever reason, you're in a place where you're very much by yourself, right? Like you kind of have to push through this dynamic either all alone, or you're just like not getting the help you thought you would get. And so I think that that's kind of where the conundrum's coming into play, right? But it does look like you either have help around the corner or you have an opportunity that's kind of lingering. I think we got this in the collective recently, collective reading, where your mind is still playing tricks on you about someone or something, you know? It looks like there is a dynamic that's kind of waiting around you that probably is not going to pop in this week, but I feel like it comes with this element of freedom. However, I feel like before you get there, you do have to forgive. You do have to let go. And I think that that's kind of where some of this difficulty is coming into play, because you're being forced to deal with whatever this karmic dynamic is. And more than likely, because this person is either around or they pop up or, you know, whatever, you know, I slide into your DMs, I heard. I'm such a nerd, sorry. But that kind of vibe, right? Like where they just, it's like out of the blue and there they are. And it's just like, ugh, not this again, you know? I mean, your energy is very much like, I'm moving forward. I've made peace about this within myself. But you also need a little bit of a helping hand to get over, you know, whether it is love or just someone that you really cared about. That's really hard to make peace with some of the choices that they've made. That really is where your freedom lies. And I think you know this. Like, I'm not trying to insult your intelligence at all by saying this, Libra, because it feels like you know this. But at the same time, you might be stuck in a little bit of the past. I love this for you. I'm going on an adventure. I know that passion is ignited when I create experiences that excite me. And this might be a little bit hard for you to do right now, right? Like, whenever we go through really difficult situations that force us to look at people or see different sides of people or things that we thought we would never encounter, etc., it is really hard to kind of get back out there and hope or believe in the best, right? I mean, it does show that your energy is like wanting that. You want to be there. That's why you're making the choices that you're making. But I do see that there's this belief in humanity that needs to be restored. I love this. This is so true. Remember, Libra, I am the final say. I know that I am the only one who determines what is and isn't right for me. And I feel like that's kind of where we're learning to not give our power away. Just because someone else wants it or suggests it doesn't mean you need to do it or that you need to follow through on it, because at the end of the day, this is about you and what you want. And maybe your power is, maybe you did give your power away. Maybe you allowed this person, this situation to get the best of you, and you're finally breaking free from that. It takes a long time to separate from these dynamics, to start fresh, to find forgiveness in your heart, but it looks like that's what you're doing. And I feel like Spirit's really reminding you or encouraging you that, like, okay, the next step is finding your power, believing in yourself, and like why you're in the place that you are today, that it's not just like for nothing, right? I am choosing joy. I know that a simple shift in perspective can change my whole world. It's amazing how much that really does lighten the load. I try to practice this as much as I can in my own life, but it's easy to get down and out. It's easy to get critical. It's easy to see the deficits in life, right? And, you know, we can do that all day long until we're blue in the face, but all it does is really affect us. It takes from our, you know, your joy, you know, and I feel like when we're able to kind of like stop ourselves in our tracks and just say, you know what, yeah, that does suck. I hate that, but I love this and this and this. It really does shift the perspective. It allows for more joy to come in. It gives you more peace and harmony. And I feel like that's what you're looking for anyway. So why not, right? Like, why not start with, or the next step, do that next step. Sorry, free will, you can do whatever you want, but take that next step. That's what I was looking for. Sorry. Take that next step, find joy, know that this is adventure. And like, you have the final say, right? Like, you're the person who can dictate who and what you want in your life. So I hope this helps, Libra. Thank you so much for your time, energy, always. I super appreciate you. I hope you found messages that resonated here for you. Definitely drop comments below if you did. I'd love to hear, or just say, hey, share, and a little love, a little TLC. I so appreciate all the love, all the support to the channel. Know it blesses my heart, and I'm sending love and blessings back to you.